Clear prop. Alright, oil pressure looks good. The gauges are green. Very good.
Airport. Automated weather observation 1153 Zulu. Wind 320 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 15 Celsius. Dew point 09 Celsius. Altimeter 2996. Remarks. Density altitude 1,600.
Alright, so it's 5:22. The tower doesn't open for another 38 minutes or so. We've got the current weather, so it's Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, which we usually refer to as CTAF, which means it's pilot controlled. So we'll just talk to everybody else.
Medford area traffic, Horizon 2898 is taking runway 32 for departure to the north. Medford area traffic.
Just like this Horizon airplane is doing right now, letting everybody know that he's taking runway 32, so we should see him take off as we're taxiing down there. So I'll just advise that I'm going to be taxiing. Medford area traffic, Sling 3755 Golf at the north hangars, taxiing via Alpha to runway 32, Medford. So I'll get down here, do a run up, make sure everything's good. This is going to be my longest single leg flight yet in the Sling. It is 800 nautical miles, the route that we're flying. And that's about 930, I believe, 930 statute miles. Should take us about 4 hours and 15 minutes with the winds today. And if I was to drive it in my car, it would be 19 hours plus. And that would be if I was able to drive straight through, no bathroom stops, food stops, rest stops, anything like that. So a 19-hour drive is going to be a little over a 4-hour flight in our little time machine here. And there goes that Horizon jet. Very nice, rotated just right next to us. Alright, we just finished our run up. Oxygen's going well. We've got both fuel pumps on. Fullest tank, wigwags, nav, and beacon light. And we might as well get in the air. We're just wasting daylight now. What a wonderful morning. I love flying in the morning. It's just, it's smooth and cool. The views are hard to beat. Just so nice. Medford area traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is taking runway 32 and I'll be departing straight out to the north, Medford. Alright, clear on final. We're clear down the runway. 32 is painted on. Bring in full power. Power is set. Airspeed's alive. Engine gauges are green. Air is 55. We'll fly the nose. Fly the nose is something I heard from Josh Flowers of Aviation 101. I like the idea of it for a nice smooth rotation. 90 positive rate. Want to climb. There's 500 feet. Parachutes available. Medford area traffic, Sling 3755 Golf on the departure leg of runway 32, departing to the north, last call, Medford. All right, here we are at 17,500 feet. We are traveling at a true airspeed of 150 knots, burning 7.9 gallons per hour. We've got a 31 knot tailwind, so our ground speed is 180 knots at 8 gallons an hour. That is fuel efficient. That's more fuel efficient than most vehicles out there, certainly any trucks or SUVs, that kind of vehicle. And it looks like, the flight's going to be about 4 hours and 20 minutes to Glasgow, based on the calculations once we got to cruising altitude. We've got all these kind of clouds surrounding us. Again, just the remainders of the thunderstorms that we had last night. You know, it cost me like an extra 15 or 20 minutes to fly up through Lewiston and then over to Glasgow, but it keeps me away from all that weather, so it's well worth it. Anyway, kind of monitoring that on my multifunction display, my primary flight display. I've got my maps, my charts, and then obviously all my instruments on the left, and just makes for nice flying. Okay, so here we are, let's see, just about Abeam, Walla Walla, Washington, famous for their onions.
And flight 1970 cross Koya at or above 5,000, cleared for the VOR Alpha at Wenatchee.
If you haven't had Walla Walla onions, you're missing out. They're wonderful, they're delicious, they're sweet, anyway, they're fantastic. So big plug for Walla Walla onions. Not sponsored, but I'm willing to be sponsored by them if they want to reach out to me. So we're at 17,000.
1615, Field Center, good morning.
500 feet. Traveling at 186 miles over the ground with a 36 knot tailwind. So really making good time. It's been smooth, it's been beautiful. Just a nice morning, one of those mornings that makes me love flying.
Airpack 995, IFR cancellation received, squawk VFR. Pre-change approved, the only traffic I see is probably about 6-7 miles northeast of the airport. Looks to be descending for it.
So in keeping with what I've been doing lately, I'm going to have a little bit more of a legal discussion, so you might want to fast forward if it bores you. If you're only here for the pilot content, then I think this is probably going to be a 10 or 15 minute discussion. I want to talk about protective proceedings. As I've mentioned in the past, I'm an elder law attorney, so protective proceedings is well in my wheelhouse. It's a large part of my practice. It's kind of a difficult, broad discussion to have, though, because it varies so much from state to state, and it really varies from one situation to another. I mean, it's the variety of protective proceedings I have can range from a disabled child turning 18.
1996, Centex, Spokane approach 123.8, have a good day.
And the parents want to maintain guardianship of the child so they can continue communicating with medical professionals, continue with applications for other needs-based benefits, Social Security, disability, Medicaid, that type of stuff. So anyway, that could be one reason. The vast majority of the protective proceedings I do are for the very elderly and infirm, usually suffering from some form of cognitive impairment, dementia, Alzheimer's, Lewy body, frontal temporal lobe dementia. I mean, there's just, there's a wide range of them. And the underlying cognitive impairment doesn't matter so much as what struggles are they facing. That's why we'll look for the protective proceedings. So I'm talking about guardianships and conservatorships.
I maintain 11,000, the Spokane altimeter 2991.
Now in Oregon, where I practice, guardianships and conservatorships are divided. Guardianships are essentially to make decisions, substituted decisions for the person, whereas conservatorships are going to be over their finances, their estate, their assets, that kind of stuff. And so it starts with kind of a change in what the burden of proof is. With the guardianship in Oregon, we must prove that the respondent is incapacitated. So this is an adversarial proceeding. That's something I think to recognize at the outset is, even though the petitioner is generally someone who cares about the respondent, the protected person, very much, and may love them and may want what's best for them, they're adversarial. It's an adversarial proceeding in that the respondent...
And Flight 1970, there's multiple VFR targets just south of Koya. A couple of them appear to be heading towards the airport, but I'm not talking to anybody there. And they all appear to be 2,000 and below. Change to advisories approved. Porch cancellation downtime this frequency.
The respondent has an opportunity to object and go to court and to face the petitioner and basically say, I'm not incapacitated. That's a high burden of proof. Incapacity, we must prove that they're unable to receive and evaluate information and essentially make decisions in their own best interest based on that information. I know that sounds like kind of a weird legalese decision, but there's got to be a nexus between the person's ability to receive and evaluate information and their actions. Because, as has been recognized by the Supreme Court, and as we like to recognize, we all have the right to folly. While we all have the right to make bad decisions. We've all made bad decisions. Just because your mom or your dad is making poor decisions doesn't necessarily mean you get to have guardianship of them. There's got to be that nexus between what they comprehend and understand and the decisions they're making. That's where you get guardianship. So you file the petition for guardianship. We get a court visitor appointed. That's a neutral third party whose job is to investigate the allegations of the petition,
and
talk to the parties,
full call time, please.
Including the respondent, the petitioner, other family members that might be involved.
Roger, Squawk 3530.
And then that court visitor files a report with the court, and the judge usually relies heavily on that because that's a neutral look.
Delta radar contact about 10 miles east of the Pullman Airport. So your type aircraft and your destination?
That's a neutral look at what's going on in the situation. And in Oregon, that's only required for guardianship. It's a little confusing to me. I think that court visitors should be required for conservatorship as well. We can request them, but it's not just required like it is for the guardianships. So the protected person or the respondent, they receive an opportunity to object.
Received, Squawk VFR, appreciate approved. No traffic reserved between yourself and the airport at the moment.
So if they object to the petition, then either we work out a solution that works for them, or we go to court, we bring witnesses. We don't usually do depositions. There might be some light discovery of, medical information, that kind of stuff. But typically the hearing happens fairly quickly. You can get emergency guardianship, or what's technically referred to as a temporary guardianship, if there's an immediate and serious danger to the health or welfare of the respondent. If they're in immediate and serious danger, essentially, then you can get the temporary guardianship. So once a person has guardianship, the problem with it is it's not a magic wand. As one of my favorite probate judges used to always say, can't just wave a magic wand and make somebody do what you want them to do. So you still have to be able to coordinate and finesse and convince people, they may need to go into a memory care facility. Well, that memory care facility is probably going to require a guardianship. Otherwise, they could be facing, wrongful imprisonment. You can't hold somebody against their will unless a judge has said that you've got the right to hold them against their will. So, but still, how do you get them there? That can be difficult. It might require some trickery, some strategery, if you will. So that's guardianship. Guardianship essentially allows you to take over the control of the person's life. It allows you to make medical decisions, unless there's an advance directive where the person has already said who they want to make those medical decisions.
Big Bend 2-3, contact Spokane approach, 12375. We'll talk to you on the other side.
And it allows you to make placement decisions, tell where they're going to move, what kind of care they're going to receive, and that kind of stuff, just like you would with a small minor child. So that's essentially guardianships. I'm going to talk about conservatorships here in just a minute, but I've been talking so much that I think my oxygen levels are getting low, so I'm going to breathe a little bit, turn off the cameras for a moment. I'll be right back with conservatorships. Okay, I caught my breath a little bit, and my oxygen saturation is back up to 96. It was down to 84, so indeed I was talking too much and not breathing through my nose and nose.
3749, Seattle Center, Roger. I should pick you up shortly.
So one question a lot of people ask is, should we get guardianship? I am going to talk about conservatorship, but should we even get guardianship? My opinion is you shouldn't get guardianship until you need guardianship. People frequently call my office and say, well, I was told I need to get guardianship or power of attorney. Well, the problem with that is this.
3749, radar contact out to indicate you're leaving 3,400.
For a person to sign a power of attorney or a trust, which can give you some control over some of their assets, or even an advance directive of medical decision.
5811, 6,300, climbing 10,000.
Excuse me, a medical power of attorney.
5811, Seattle Center, climb and maintain flight level 230.
I'm maintain 230, guys, 5811.
You have to have capacity to.
Center, good morning.
You have to have legal capacity to execute any of those documents. Well, if you can do that, then you're not incapacitated and you don't need guardianship. So if you can do one, you can't do the other. They're mutually exclusive. Either you can get a power of attorney or a trust in place or an advance directive in place.
Salt Lake Center, 12805, good day.
Or the person's incapacitated and they may need power of attorney. Now, I always encourage families, work together first. Work with your siblings, work with your parents, work with the parents' spouses. Try and do anything you can to avoid the guardianship if possible. Number one, it's way less expensive. Number two, it's less likely to cause permanent damage among the family members. Guardianship oftentimes can cause irreparable harm in sibling relationships, in parent-child relationships, because, again, it is an adversarial proceeding. It's something where you are essentially going to court to take away somebody's right to self-determination. Maybe their right to drive. Maybe their right to live in their home. Those are big deals. So try to work with them first. At some point, you may not be able to.
17, Seattle Center, good morning.
Then it's time for a guardianship. So conservatorship is pretty similar to guardianship. We still have a burden of proof. It's still adversarial. But instead of having to prove incapacity in Oregon, we have to prove financially incapable. That's a much lower bar. If incapacity is a bar up here, financially incapable is a lower bar to prove. Just proving that somebody is unable to manage or handle their finances. I frequently joke with clients, but it's only kind of a joke,
Good morning.
that my wife Chelsea could probably prove that I'm financially incapable.
Experimental 55 Golf, change to my frequency 12395.
123-9-5, 55 Golf. One quick second here. Center experimental Sling 3755 Golf, level 17500.
Terminal 55 Golf. Thank you, Lewiston, altimeter 29901.
29901, 55 Golf. So, I joke with clients that Chelsea could probably prove that I'm financially incapable because she manages all of our finances at the house. She really takes care of everything. I was just talking to her the other day. She was talking about kind of some of the financial stuff, and I told her, I said, you know, if I die, I know you're going to be okay, but if you die, I'm not even sure where to go to find out where the money is. So maybe you should email me some of that stuff. By the way, I still haven't received that email.
Center, Alaska, 1130, 10,400, climbing, level 230.
So we moved to a different sector that's more busy. I was hoping that I was going to be able to talk to you about guardianships and conservatorships.
County approach 126.4.
Well, the frequency traffic wasn't very busy, but now we're super busy. Anyway, so I'll wrap up conservatorships. Financially incapable. Now, one thing with guardianship is there's no way to sign away your right to guardianship because guardianship has to be taken from you. You can't just agree that you're incapacitated. I kind of talked about it. It's mutually exclusive. With conservatorship, I might be financially incapable, but I might still be competent to sign a trust, to sign a power of attorney, to execute some of those legal documents that can avoid it. So, by all means, if you can avoid getting conservatorship because your loved one is trusting you, then get a power of attorney first. It's way cheaper. Now, if there's concerns about maybe financial exploitation, the conservatorship's nice because it's a protective proceeding. The judge is overseeing the proceeding. So if maybe the kids don't trust each other or whoever's in charge of the finances is maybe not as trusted by some of their other siblings, the conservatorship, though it's going to be more expensive, might give everyone peace of mind that a power of attorney doesn't because there's going to be a bond required. There's going to be an inventory that allows everybody to see what the conservators are working with, and there's going to be annual accountings. So all of that stuff provides the transparency that maybe a power of attorney or a trust may not provide to the satisfaction of other family members. So that's one reason why you might get a conservatorship even if your loved one is capable or is competent, but maybe not financially capable. So the conservatorship, again, it's going to be an ongoing proceeding.
Contact Seattle Center on 118.
There are annual accountings required. Surety bond is required to protect the protected person, to protect the others from possible misuse or financial exploitation. So the protective proceedings are useful. I think one of the big things that bothers me most about them, though, is I really try hard to avoid a knockdown, drag-out airing of dirty laundry in court. If we can avoid that, I just think it's super important for the entire family.
Contact Salt Lake Center 11922.
Because of the harm that's done to family members, if it does end up being, just this hotly litigated case. But sometimes you can't avoid it, and so when you do, you try to represent your client the best you can, and you look out always for the best interest of the protected person. So that's guardianships and conservatorships. Again, this is not legal advice. You need to talk to your own lawyer about any of this stuff. I'm just trying to give you kind of some,
Alaska 1130.
we'll say 17,500 foot view of what that part of the legal process looks like.
Pressure maintain 11,000.
Broad brush stuff. If you like the content, like and subscribe. If you don't like the content, please be nice in your comments. And thanks for following along. Okay, so we are 17 miles
4611
southwest of Lewiston. As soon as we get to Lewiston, we're going to start crossing the Rocky Mountains.
Number 517, Mike Sierra, contact, 5 miles west
I can see
altitude.
Kind of some remainder clouds there, again, from those thunderstorms that were over the Rockies here.
Clear to Boeing Field, S file, commenting 10,000, Ellensburg, altimeter 2993.
my tailwind right now is 40 knots. In fact, that's something I wanted to show you, is how we're performing right now. So we've got a 40 knot tailwind almost directly on the tail. I went ahead and cranked up the throttle a little bit. So we're flying 121 knots indicated, 161 knots true airspeed. That's again the altitude difference. And we're at 200 knots ground speed. So that's 230 miles per hour. That's 201 knots that it just went to. So we're flying a little faster than 230 miles per hour. And it's kind of nice. I'm going to slow down here and see what that gets us to. And by slow down, I mean I'm going to get into eco mode with the engine. So I'm going to get back down closer to 8 gallons per hour. And see what our speed is at 8 gallons an hour. So I had us at 97% of manifold pressure. Now we're at 80% manifold pressure, 8 gallons an hour. Let's take a look at that.
Morning, Scott, 4763, 13A, climb flight level 230.
So that's what the difference is. When I get it down into eco mode, it looks like around 114 indicated, 153 knots true airspeed, and that puts us at 189 knots over the ground, which puts us around 217 or so miles per hour. And we're at Lewiston right now, so we're turning right and going to fly direct to Glasgow. There's our right turn.
Seattle Center, good morning, Transcom 8, 11.3, climb to flight level 230.
All right, here we are over north central Montana.
Maintain flight level 280.
Just past Haber. On our way now to Glasgow. Glasgow is 110
3801 Salt Lake Center.
nautical miles directly in front of us. Little point of interest, we'll be flying over and nearby Malta, Montana.
Scout 3801, to center maintain 15,000, Glacier Park up to number 2984.
Although I have no recollections of Malta, Montana, I was born in Malta. So I'm familiar with it just because, you know, I always get asked place of birth. I think we only lived there for maybe several months after I was born.
Is that your 771 clear director, Kilo Uniform Bravo, Zulu Bravo?
I believe my parents were starting college or getting back into college shortly after Malta, so I think
Kilo Uniform Bravo,
it was actually
Zulu
back
Bravo.
to Haber, which we just passed. Okay, so we're about 34 nautical miles out from Glasgow. Let's pick up the weather.
Center, Grumman 1700 will
monitor that.
Approach back to the DOR, and then we'll be heading to Lewiston.
Temperature 28 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 2972. Remarks. Density altitude 4,500. Thunderstorm. Information not available. Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport. Automated weather observation 1654 Zulu. Wind 110 at 04. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 28 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 2972. Remarks.
Density altitude 4,600. Thunderstorm information not available.
110 at 04.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport. Automated weather observation 165.
So that's going to put me on a different runway than I was anticipating. I thought I was going to be almost the opposite of that. I was looking at like 290. So 110, that's going to put me on runway 12, which is a 5,002-foot runway, 100 feet wide. Nice and, it's a nice looking runway. Coming from the direction I'm coming, so it's left traffic. I technically should fly out over the runway, cross over and enter a left downwind. I'm going to go ahead and cancel my flight following and then just start listening to traffic around Glasgow. If there's much traffic, then I'll do a standard traffic pattern entry, which is to overfly the airport and enter a teardrop or a left downwind for 12. Otherwise, I might pull a Cirrus move for those of you Cirrus flyers out there and just do a 15-mile final straight into 12 because it's pretty much straight in for me. So I'm going to go ahead and call center up. Center experimental Sling 3755 Golf. I've got the 1-minute weather in Glasgow, and I can go ahead and cancel flight following now.
Number 3755 Golf, no known traffic between you and Glasgow. Your radar service is terminated. Squawk VFR, and frequency change is approved.
Squawking VFR and over to CTAP 55 Golf. Oh wow, man, some huge white birds right below me. Oh, I mean they were. I thought it was an airplane at first. They were big. I can see Fort Peck Reservoir out there, and so I don't think those were seagulls, so I don't know what the heck they were. Alright, so I'm listening to Glasgow now, and I'm going to just set up for my long final into runway 12. Got my wigwags on, my nav, my beacon, fullest tank, both fuel pumps, I'm ready to land. Got my weather. I'm going to listen to it one more time just because it was showing winds variable and kind of shifting around, so I want to just check and make sure my winds are going to stay the winds I want the whole time here.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport. Automated weather observation 1658 Zulu. Wind 060 at 03. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 28 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 2972. Remarks. Density altitude 4.
All right. .060. So that puts me on runway 08, which is still a 5,000 foot runway, only 75 feet wide, but as opposed to the 100 foot wide on 12. 060, yep. So I'm going to make runway 08. Correct. So I guess, you know, it's a good idea to, especially in this area where the winds are so shifty, I can feel how shifty they are. We're bouncing around a lot. It's starting to get warm too. 75 degrees out and we're 4,000 feet over the ground. So we've got shifty winds and some density altitude. So it's a good idea to keep checking those winds. Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is 18 to the west, inbound for a full stop. I'm going to just fly straight in runway 08 if able, Glasgow.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport. Automated weather observation 1703 Zulu. Wind missing. Visibility 10.
Wind missing now.
Sky condition clear. Temperature 28 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 2972. Remarks. Density altitude 4,600. Thunderstorm information not available.
All right, now they've got no ideas what the winds are, so we'll see. I'll check again as I get a little bit closer here. We're 10 miles out. Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf, 10 to the west, inbound, full stop, runway 8, Glasgow. So it is hot and it is windy. I'm going to check one more time for my winds here.
Thunderstorm information not available.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport.
Weather observation 1705 Zulu. Wind missing. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 28 Celsius. Dew point 14 Celsius. Altimeter 2.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport.
Automated weather observation 1706 Zulu. Wind missing. Visibility 10.
All right, I'm going to just overfly the airport and see if I can see the windsock. Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is 4.5 to the west. I'm going to overfly the airport to get a look at the winds. The ASOS is not giving me a wind report, so I'll be overflying the airport in just a couple minutes. Sling 3755 Golf, Glasgow. All right, got the airport dead ahead. All right, I can see the VOR, I can see the airport. I do not see a windsock yet. Still looking. Still looking. All right, went over the, there's a windsock. Nope, that is not a windsock. No windsock in sight.
100. Thunderstorm information not available.
All right, I'm going to do a downwind.
Local field, Glasgow Valley County Airport.
That was my last
Automated weather observation 1709 Zulu. Wind missing. Visibility.
Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is on left downwind for runway 8, Glasgow. Alright, so I'm going to keep an eye on my winds as I get lower. If my winds are really bad and they're going the wrong direction, we're just going to go around. We got lots of gas. Alright, here's my third notch of flaps. It's, the winds don't seem that bad right here, right now.
500.
Okay, now I'm looking at a tailwind. 5-knot tailwind. So I did end up with a 6-knot tailwind on that. If it went up any higher, I was going to go ahead and go around, but no need as it turns out. Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is back taxiing runway 8, Glasgow. All right, let's get some air conditioner going here. Woo-wee! Glasgow traffic, Sling 3755 Golf is clear of 8, Glasgow.